Hello, everyone. I'm Dijon,
I'm Christian.
and welcome to the Mustardcast, the podcast about the art of storytelling and how it's used across different mediums. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see our channel grow, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. As always, free Palestine. The reason you're not hearing anything is because they killed all the journalists.
Yeah.
So don't forget, it's still happening. They're trying to pretend like it's not. It is. They're just hiding it. But what have you been watching lately in terms of live action TV and film?
That is a good question. I haven't been watching as much as I've been buying a lot of tickets for things coming up. For example, I Love Boosters. There's going to be early screenings for I Love Boosters at the Egyptian Cinemark.
Oh yeah,
So
I've been
on
seeing trailers for
Wednesday,
him.
yeah, I'm very hyped for that. So it's coming Wednesday. I'm going to be seeing that with my girlfriend. Um, and I definitely want to see Is God Is too, because I've heard a lot of thoughts about that film as well. Um, but yeah, as far as watching stuff, it's really been some TV. One comedy series called The Rise and Fall of Reggie Dinkins on NBC. Um, it's made by some of the same showrunners of 30 Rock, and it definitely has that type of humor of like a lot of cutaway gags, a lot of random references to things, and very comedy nerd. But it yeah harkens back to like old NBC and that era of like Parks and Rec, The Office, Community, and 30 Rock, and like all of them being on television at the same time. So yeah, I've been watching that, and yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much it. What about you?
Yeah, for me, a few shows finished up recently. It was a Daredevil Born Again season 2 ended. Um, and last week, which is the week after it ended, they did a special presentation for Punisher One Last Kill, which I'll talk about both of those a little bit more later. Still watching the live action One Piece very slowly. I have not been watching as much as I probably should, but slowly make my way towards that through that. It's not that it's bad. I just haven't been watching it a lot.
Okay.
And what else? I watched on Her Majesty's Secret Service, James Bond, the first one without Sean Connery.
Right.
Yeah, excited to talk more
Is
about that.
George Lazenby, I
Yeah,
think was that?
George
Okay.
Lazenby. And I also saw Mortal Kombat 2 in theaters with my mom for Mother's Day because she doesn't play a lot of games, but she likes Pac Man, Grand Theft Auto, and Mortal Kombat. So I was like, let's go see Mortal Kombat. We saw it this
That's cool.
Saturday for Mother's Day.
How'd it hold up?
I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Good.
But that's about it for me. I can't think of anything else. So get into some trailers and news, starting with Evil Dead Burn. We got an announcement trailer or teaser a few weeks ago, and then a proper trailer a little bit after that. And the trailer made me deeply uncomfortable, uh, which is a good thing. I'm very
Yeah.
excited for this movie. I watched the Green Band trailer, and it was a good trailer. And they like showed scenes that the Red Band trailer didn't. And then I went into the comments and they said this was the Green Band trailer. I was like, oh, I want to see the Red Band trailer. Show me the gore. So I watched the Red Band trailer. They're both really good.
Yeah.
There's a scene where a person falls on a bunch of forks and knives that are in a dishwasher back
Yeah.
first and then gets pushed further down into it, and I'm like, that's wild. And my biggest fear, because I made a mistake and stabbed under my fingernail with a fork,
Oh.
reaching into my dishwasher to grab said fork, and I just reached in not looking, and then the fork just went under my nail and I was
Oh.
bleeding. And ever since then, you know what I do? I place everything in there face down, like the sharp side down, everything. Of course I was always doing that with the knives, but now with the forks, even the spoons, the spoons can't stab me, but still.
Right.
And I don't use the dishwasher to wash. I basically just use it as a drying rack, so
Okay.
it's not like I have to sit them upright so that they can wash better. So I just sit them all point down to to not risk that. So that just brought up a fear that's instilled in me ever since then.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that too after watching this trailer. Um. Yeah. the dishwasher. I don't know if it's a kill. I mean, maybe it's not a
Yeah,
kill in the film somehow, but the car seat, the door slamming, like the car door slamming on the fingers, like it definitely follows that Evil Dead philosophy of just
yeah.
the most random, well shot, but the most random intrusive thought kills on on film.
One
And
100%. Very,
yeah,
very much intrusive thought kills.
yeah. Um, but
The
yeah, I good.
No, I was just gonna read the log line for the movie. Evil Dead Burn unleashes the franchise's most savage and terrifying ride to date, blazing onto big screens with an all-new chapter of carnage and demonic mayhem. After the loss of her husband, a woman seeks solace with her in-laws in their secluded family home. As one by one they are transformed into deadites, turning the gathering into a family reunion from hell. She comes to discover that the vows she took in life live on even in death. Yeah.
Mm.
What were you about to say?
Oh no, yeah. I think it's cool that Evil Dead is still going.
Mm.
Like I like that Evil Dead has almost become like a film capstone. Like let's like let's reach out to different horror directors all across the world from different backgrounds and they get the opportunity to make an Evil Dead film. Like it's almost like a fellowship in a way.
Mm.
And it continues that same spirit of the original movies of just like not fully tested and like, horror directors with small starts and
Yeah, the
you know,
person directing this one, Sebastian Van Keck. Yeah, not a lot under his belt, but all of them are horror from what I can see.
right. And it's like with Evil Dead Rise as well. I'm gonna find a filmmaker for Evil Dead Rise.
Lee Cronin.
Yeah. So Lee Cronin, like, again, directors who don't necessarily have like the most expansive filmmaking background or are often from like another country or nation and they get the opportunity to contribute to a long running franchise or like bring their own spin to it. So I think it's cool that Evil Dead has become a independent film tradition in a way. So yeah, overall, well shot horror with a weird tinge of humor in it. Yeah, I thought it was just very cool.
Yeah, I'm a
Just
huge
cool going.
huge Evil Dead fan. Loved Rise, and I'm
Mm,
glad that they're continuing the franchise. And I I still haven't seen the 2013 one. That's the only one I haven't seen, and
yeah.
I need to watch that eventually. But in the trailer itself, one of the character that like gets his back pushed onto the the dishwasher says that he mentions that his granddad believed that the devil would return if you read the Book of the Dead, and I'm just like, is Ash his granddad?
Mm,
Are we gonna get Ash back eventually?
yeah. Like, will it go full circle?
Yeah,
That would be pretty interesting.
it'll be interesting to see Ash in an Evil Dead movie that is more serious again, like the first one.
Yeah,
Whereas like the first one was very serious, the second one was just a remake of the first one, made it a bit goofier. And the third one went full camp, and then the Ash vs Evil Dead was leaned even harder into that full camp, and then they like circled back around to being more horror with a little bit of humor. So
right.
it would be interesting to see uh, that character come back in kind of this version of the franchise.
Yeah, because it's like, how would Ash fit
Yeah,
within that more serious tone? Yeah, for sure.
yeah. This releases July 10th, a couple months away.
Okay.
Next, we have Coyote versus Acme. It's actually happening.
Mm,
It's releasing August 28th, and we should all see it. Uh, this is one of the many movies that WB shelved, despite how far along it was for a tax write off. This movie was complete. Uh, but Catch Up Entertainment, the studio that also produced the animated Looney Tunes movie, The Day the World Blew Up, which I saw in theaters, they acquired the rights and are now distributing it. Let me read the logline of the movie. After enduring years of catastrophic product failures at the hands of Acme, a tenacious, unemployed Coyote uncovers a corporate cover-up and spearheads an unhinged battle against a multinational conglomerate that's been blowing him up in the name of profit. Also, there's a Roadrunner and Dynamite. This movie stars Will Forte, Lana Condor, and John Cena, alongside, of course, the Looney Tunes that we all grew up with and their respective voice actors. I'm a huge Looney Tunes fan, personally. And the premise of this movie was always really fun to me. So I'll definitely be checking this out in theaters. And I'm glad that it's happening. That WB weren't allowed to just bury this. And that somebody came through and actually picked it up.
Yeah. Because, I'm glad that they're not just burying it like they've buried so many other things. And also, the meta narrative of it all is just very interesting.
Very
This is
interesting.
about a legal dispute and Coyote, or like Wile E. Coyote, going against an institution that's been blowing him up. It's just that
100%. And even like in the trailer itself, you can tell that they're making references to the whole situation with them kind of almost like using Acme as like the WB
right.
kind of stand in. And it's funny having Foghorn Leghorn kind of be like a WB or Acme exec in this in this movie.
Right.
Very fun character archetype for Foghorn Leghorn to play, where the person playing him is playing him as a different character.
Right. And it's very much so. I mean, for sure, like any human animation hybrid thing, there is that Who Framed Mr. Rod or Who Framed Roger Rabbit aspect to it. But yeah, there's a certain level of just cheekiness and like I don't know. There's a certain level of self-aware humor here that I think makes this very interesting. And also, yeah, it's cool that this film is even being made because we hear so many times about films not being able to cross the finish line or films that are completely finished and instead of being treated as works of art get treated as tax write-offs and as just kind of assets and not something that countless animators, countless visual effects people, actors, makeup, like it's a lot of things. It's a lot goes into making a film. So for it to just get swept under the rug, like it's a product or like a it just it is very sad when that happens. So the fact that it's even getting the light of day for the animators, for the cast, for the directors, writers, it's very cool to see. And I want to see Batwoman.
I
Like
want to
I
see Batgirl 100%. I need Batgirl. They should
yeah,
just like retool that to be like the beginning of Gotham in the DCU.
yeah. That could be cool. And I think it could set a cool precedent for saving lost media.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's crazy how you could put so much work into something almost complete and then it get shelved. You see it with video games too, and it always sucks when that happens when they get so deep into development and they show stuff like you want to know what that one that will always hurt me? Scale
Mm,
down, my guy. Platinum
yeah.
Games,
Yeah.
Xbox. Oh man, fucking what is it? Hideki Kamiya,
Yeah, Hideki Kamiya. Yeah.
bruh, crazy. I'm still
And
mad
that
about that one. There were so many trailers for that game. It looked so good.
I genuinely think if Scalebound came out, Xbox wouldn't be where they are right now.
That was the turning point.
Yeah, that was the inciting incident. Yeah. I
Wild.
think about Scalebound. I think about I mean goodness, countless Star Wars products like Star Wars 1313. It was like a bounty hunter
I
game that
mean,
was made
very
Lucas.
recently, but unfortunately, these games didn't get as far as we would like. But you got Wonder Woman, Black Panther, like
Mm,
crazy stuff.
yeah. Yeah.
But on the Looney Tunes train, I'm sure you grew up watching the Looney Tunes show on Cartoon Network, which was basically like it was like a sitcom. It was almost like Seinfeld, but with Looney Tunes characters. That's the type of
Yeah.
humor I hope this has.
Me too.
The Looney
'Cause
Tunes show was so damn good.
and it's deep. I, I'm glad that people are coming back around to realize how great it is. Yeah, the show is very good, and it had a great voice cast too.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just genuinely well written and funny.
Yeah. Like that was the show that I feel like actually made Lola Bunny a character rather than just the sexy basketball lady in Space Jam.
Exactly. Right. Shout out to Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
Um,
When I found
but
out that she voiced Lola Bunny in that, I was like, what? I never
yeah,
realized that. I
yeah,
think she got recast at some point in the show, but she voiced her for a while.
she did. Which, speaking of cartoons, because quick aside, that reminds me of something I did watch. I watched some of the Lost Tapes episodes for regular show.
Is that out?
Some it is out. Yeah, it's out.
Since when?
It came out on. Okay, I'll say this. Legally, it came out on Monday.
Oh, okay. It just came out. Because I'm sitting here like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
I'm like, I haven't seen shit.
right. But
Because I
certain.
feel like they haven't been advertising this because I didn't even know.
Yeah, yeah, it came out. It, and the first episode of it is available on YouTube, so you can watch it
I mean, I'm pretty sure
for
it's gonna be
free.
on. It's gonna be on HBO Max like next day.
Yeah, which is what I think they're doing is like next day releases. Um, and I think in HBO China or HBO like for some foreign nations, the entire season is available on streaming. So some folks have been VPNing
Yeah, I did not.
and
I didn't even know it was out. I'm for sure about to watch that after this.
yeah, so yeah, like crazy that it's crazy that it's even out. Um, Part of it does make me wish that Close Enough came back,
Man, Close Enough
but
is so good.
it was very very good. Yeah, based off first episode, it's like they never left. Honestly, it's the
Is
same.
this one on Adult Swim, right?
This is on. I think they're I actually don't know in regards to what
Because
they're doing with cable.
I remember when they were announcing it, it was like going to be on Adult Swim, and it's going to be essentially a regular show, but with like the adult humor that they couldn't fully do in the original show,
Yeah,
which is what they did with Close Enough.
right.
Close Enough was
So
just a regular show, but it was on Adult Swim, so they can actually do it like adult jokes fully.
exactly, and they didn't have to hide alcohol behind wings. Uh, yeah, I don't know what it's airing on because based off of the first episode, it seems kind of like the typical TV PG regular show. So I think it's on the Cartoon Network block,
Yeah, that's yeah. Didn't
which
know
is
that came
interesting.
out. Definitely got to check that out.
Yeah, and it's good. Coworker, one of our coworkers, Naja, she said it's unfortunate that the old cartoons got to come back to show people how it's done.
Yeah, wow.
But it genuinely doesn't feel like they were gone. Also, Eileen and Marceline get an episode, and of the 5 episode set that I've seen so far, it's probably the best one. Like everyone gets to have shenanigans, and it still works.
That's
So yeah,
sick. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
I'm glad it's coming back. No, is it? I mean, we already have Fiona and Cake, but I think they're actually doing. No, maybe I'm true. I'm thinking about something else. There's something else that's coming back. I think there might be a Steven Universe something, but I think there's might also be something else Adventure Time related that's happening. I just can't remember what it
Okay.
was, other than Fiona and Cake, which is already, for all intents and purposes, it's a continuation. Like they very constantly go back to the main Adventure Time universe and interact with those characters and see what they're doing.
Right.
If you haven't watched Fiona and Cake, you should check that out. Show's good.
I started it but didn't finish it. I need to finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But moving on to The Furious. I know I sent this last minute, but I was
It's
I
okay.
was I saw a clip of a fight scene from it that they had posted online, and I watched it. And I was like, oh yeah, I gotta throw this in there because I don't even got much to say about this other than it looks good.
Yeah. Yeah.
After
It is. Cool.
after the daughter of Wang Wei, played by Mao, is kidnapped by a criminal network, and he receives no help from the corrupt police, Wei sets out on a rampage to find her himself. His only ally is Navin, Joe Tausum, who is in the Raid. He plays Sub-Zero in the first Mortal Kombat movie, and Noob Saibot in the second. A relentless journalist whose wife has mysteriously disappeared. Fueled by furious vengeance, the unlikely duo ruthlessly fights against the kidnappers in this explosive martial arts showdown. Releases June 12th in theaters. And like I said, I don't have much to say other than that this looks sick as hell. And I'm excited
Yeah.
to see a movie like this in theaters for the first time. I usually only catch these on DVD or digital after the fact.
Man, yeah. You remember that one meme format, and it was like a man will show you this and say, "Hell yeah."
Yeah,
That's how I feel about the trailer.
for
That's
sure.
how I feel about. Yeah, it just seems like one of those films that you would just watch and say, "Hell yeah."
Yeah, very much Raid style, which,
Yes.
Joe Towsom's also in, just full on non-stop action, martial arts action. It's just, I love these kind of movies. I grew up watching martial arts films with my dad, like 70s martial arts films, Shaw Brothers stuff. And, as I got older, just watch more and more of it. It's just all good. Jackie Chan. It's just, we need more of this. We don't have enough of this. Okay.
Yeah.
We need so much more of this. Shout out to
Yeah.
like Jackie Chan's stunt crew going around showing people how it's done. They're working on they worked on Spider-Man recently, and that's coming out soon. And I'm really
Okay.
excited to see what that actually looks like in practice. Like recently, they've been posting a lot more like behind the scenes, showing that things are being done practically for that movie, and I'm very excited to see it in action.
Yeah. I saw that practical clip too. It looks cool. But yeah, I think that Golden Harvest adjacent style of filmmaking and action film production, and also like just action film production across the world in regards to the way that like Indonesia does it, or the way that like India does it. Like it's like everyone has their take on it.
I
I
feel like
think that
John Wick is encouraging America to like get back to basics and stop doing too
finally,
much.
finally, so I think it's cool that people are starting to get back into that filmmaking bag again, and just action film as a dance film. I don't know how else to describe it,
Yeah,
but just
like
like
a movie where the entire story is told through action and it's an actually compelling story.
right,
It's not just action for action's sake. There's a purpose to it all.
right, and yeah, it's just some action scenes in films feel like excuses, like or not even excuses, just we need to have this action scene, so we're just gonna put it in there. Um, and instead of it's just the action is an afterthought. I feel like that's the best way I could say it. The action is an afterthought, and it's shot very uncreatively. It entirely lives in the edit, and they use camera movement and shakiness and quick cuts to hide the fact that scenes are poorly choreographed. So, yeah, to see goodness, just to see wide action films with wide shots in them again, it's very cool and extremely necessary.
Yeah, very much so. Next, we have the Odyssey. We got another trailer, and we get a glimpse at how they're going to do more of the kind of like mythical things with the Cyclops in this trailer. Uh, for me, I think this is the best trailer so far. I think we only got like two or three. Like I think we got like a teaser and then another trailer, and then this one. But yeah, this is the best one so far for me. This one actually has me a lot more interested. Um, Nolan's name is still doing a lot of the heavy lifting because I feel like if this wasn't a Nolan movie, I probably wouldn't be nearly as interested as I am.
No,
But
I agree.
but I haven't read the Odyssey. I plan on reading before this comes out. Circe, which is I forget the name of the author, but I recently read one of her books, Song of Achilles, which is telling the story of the Iliad through the eyes of Patroclus. And Circe is the same thing, but for the Odyssey, and it's being told through Circe. And but other than that, I of course just know the story of the Odyssey just through the various stories that take inspiration from it, and just it's just a very famous story that's used and talked about everywhere. It's hard for you not to have heard about it or know anything about it, despite
Right.
what the internet like the internet likes to make fun of people for not knowing it, and it's like that's not their fault. That's the fault of the education systems
No, exactly. It's
across
not.
different places across the planet. If a person doesn't know what the Odyssey is, it's more often than not their fault. It's whatever system of education they're under for not teaching them about it. But also, as great as it is, I don't necessarily think it is required reading for every single person on the face of the planet. Like it's a good one. You should read it. But like I don't know if it's like everybody needs to know what the Odyssey is.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But yeah,
Um,
I like this trailer. Good trailer. Definitely gave us a lot more. And focusing on what I what I was getting to before I kind of went on a tangent
but
was
no, it's all
that
good.
I like how much we're getting of what's going on back in Ithaca. Because like I said, haven't read the Odyssey, so I don't know how that part of the story necessarily goes, or if it's just fully um Odysseus the entire time, which I assume it is. But here we're getting a lot back on Ithaca and what's going on with his wife and his son, and people assuming Odysseus is never coming back, so they're going to take over his land. And we see that a lot with Robert Robert what's his name?
Robert
Rob,
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. I was gonna say Robert Patrick. That's a completely different actor. That's the T. That's the was it what T model is he? The T1000,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
right?
I forget.
But yeah, he's the Terminator. That's a different person. um, he's the Terminator from T2. But yeah, that's a very interesting aspect of the story that I don't know a lot about. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
Oh, but yeah, um, I do agree as well. I do think if Nolan's name wasn't as attached, I wouldn't be interested. Um, but I do think it looks like a well-made epic. It looks, I think the production design is pretty cool. It is also kind of splitting hairs with folks because some folks are saying that the helmet design or like the actual gritness isn't to the like it's not to the liking of some people.
It's not sort of like
But
them me either, honestly.
yeah, it's very I don't know. It yeah, I don't know where to start with it to
he's
be honest. I
he's trying to
think
tell
that
a really grounded version of a very fantastical story, and I don't know if it's working.
yeah, yeah, I agree. Cuz yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be grounded. I think okay, this is my take. I love practical cinema. I think it's great. I think it's cool, but I feel like practical cinema is kind of overrated. I cannot
I
lie.
agree. I was thinking about this a couple of days ago, where the thing is that CGI is overused to the point
Mhm.
that people blame the tool and not the people using it.
Exactly.
Never blame the people, like people using it in the sense of the people who are, in a sense, using the people that are working on CGI, not the actual artists who are working on the CGI themselves, but the people above them who are telling them what to make and what to do and things.
Right.
They are just misusing it and using it as a crutch. So that's how
Exactly.
everybody else sees it. Everybody from the outside looking in sees CGI as a crutch. Even competent filmmakers like Nolan just see CGI as a crutch. Like I shouldn't use that. That's a thing that people use because they can't do it practically or because this was a last minute thing. Like people see it as a crutch when it's like, no, dog. It's look the best example is Avatar.
Exactly.
The best example is Avatar. You know, we were just talking about Terminator. Like, um, if anybody knows how to use it, it's him.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's James Cameron.
James Cameron knows how to use CGI because he gives them the time to get it done. Like Christopher Nolan, you have the clout, you have the budgets to have good CGI made for your movies. You don't have to assume it's this crutch that's going to bring down the quality of your movie, especially if you just hire people who do know how to use it correctly to educate you, a person who just doesn't really use it very often, as far as we know. You know, as he likes
Exactly.
to say, he probably used it more than he'd like to admit, honestly. But
Yeah.
it's there's a time and place for it. It's not this crush that people think it is. It's a tool that if you use it well, it enhances your film.
Yeah. And I mean, well said. And I think that this whole movement of we shot it practically as a marketing tactic is very annoying because it just I feel like the one shotter, like the one shot has kind of be it's had this same moment as well. Because you can have something that's one shot in a single take, but the scene can still be terrible. Even if it's like one take and there's no cuts in a scene, it can still be bad. Um, I feel the same way about practical people. Shooting something practical has become like a marketing tool. Like it was all over the place with F1, and it sparked a lot of discourse on the internet because it was like we went to the racetracks, we did this, we we went to the actual races while they were recording, and we did like, and that was all of the marketing with F1. But F1 has tons of CGI car replacements, tons of CGI crowds, tons of debris visual effects. Some of the cars in that film are legit just CGI, like entirely CGI assets. But because of the fact that the film was well constructed and the CGI was very well done, people that you couldn't tell where the practical stuff and the visual effects began. Like you couldn't tell. But all over the marketing for that phone, they were talking about how everything was practical. And I feel like there's a purist aspect to it, but it also I mean it erases the work of CGI artists, and I think it does suck. And I think that people aren't against CGI, they're just against garish and very blatant CGI. So yeah, I think that based off what I've seen for the Odyssey, I think it would work better if it leaned more into the fantastical aspects. Like this isn't Oppenheimer, and I don't think it should be shot like that. This isn't Dunkirk,
So I hate
and I don't think it.
how dark this movie is. It's a like shot for IMAX, like all of his movies are, but like you know, you know that like in any theater that's not IMAX is gonna look horrible. You're like barely gonna be able to see
Oh,
anything when it's
sure.
dark because I feel like Christopher Nolan makes movies for IMAX and does not care about the plethora of other formats that the vast majority of people are going to watch this in, like what their viewing
That's
experience is going to be like. And from I hate to say the audio mixing in his movies are trash as well. Like
all.
sometimes you sit down and wonder like, look, this dude's he's a goat, right? But he does some strange things. Too dark.
Yeah,
Audio mixing's horrible. It's like I don't know if that's his fault or whoever's doing post production. Fire them
yeah.
because what's happening?
Oh yeah. It's been a thing, yeah, in all of his films, just about at least since, and like I'm
Yeah, I feel like
relatively versed in
yep,
photography, at least since The Dark Knight.
yeah,
Like it seemed at least since he really started getting in his blockbuster IMAX bag. That was when the sound mixing and the color grading started to it was darker.
yeah. Because I think about Batman Begins, the way Gotham looked, the vibrancy. Oh, it looks beautiful. And like I'm not, and like the same thing with like on Inception, like these movies that have they're vibrant, you can hear what's happening, but then you get to Tenet, and the dark scenes are way too dark. Everything's way too loud. You can't hear what anyone's saying. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like because he makes these things to be heard on this specific sound system, watch on this specific scene, and it's like I get it, you're a filmmaker, but the people who are paying money to watch your films aren't gonna. The vast majority of them are not gonna have access to that equipment, either in a theater or at home.
Yeah.
Brother, make a version of the film that is for us normal people.
I agree. Yeah.
But
And I feel sorry, my
I
fault.
just well, you can say what you're about to say because I was about to just dive back into the Odyssey.
I know, yeah, because I mean I saw Proud to Kill Mary, the trailers for Dune and the Odyssey popped up. And yeah, Denis is he He's not afraid of CGI, and we'll use it. But his Dune films look gorgeous. Like they are good looking films, and you can tell that they're well crafted and that they're deeply cinematic. Um, and I think that there is something cool about what Nolan does with like doing things practically and like recreating sets and building sets. I think it's cool, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like what Denis does and what Nolan does, you can definitely see the two different schools of thought in regards to making giant, epic looking films. And I think that the Odyssey could benefit more from that Villeneuve concept of doing visual effects stuff, but making it look grounded. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and I also hate that. I don't know if this is his decision or the actor's decisions, but either way, why do Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson, why are they speaking? Why are they speaking in an American accent? I feel like everyone in this film should be able to speak in their natural accents. I don't feel like anything would be lost from them doing British accents.
Yeah,
Like this is already a film with a bunch of different people from a bunch of different backgrounds playing Greeks, and you're already having a bunch of people with American accents. So why does it matter if somebody's doing a British accent?
I agree.
Like
Yeah.
to me, that's weird. There's also been some controversy over the fact that Lupita Nyong'o is playing Helen of Troy, you know, the most beautiful woman in the world, according to Homer's Iliad. And of course, the only
But
people who can look at this adaptation of a fictional story and get upset that a black person is playing the most beautiful woman in the world are racist, and their opinion does not matter. And also, Lupita Nyong'o is the most beautiful woman in the world. But that's how I found out that she was playing Helen of Troy. Was just people being racist.
of course, people are going to have takes on that and say, well, actually, according to historical record on this fictional property,
Oh, and there's another controversial casting, because is and that's Achilles.
mm,
Do you know who's playing Achilles?
I think I saw this. Is it Travis Scott?
No, 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 no,
Who is?
no. It is. God damn it! I'm trying to remember their name. It's hold on. Let me look it up. Elliot Page is playing Achilles.
Okay. Got you.
You can imagine the world's
The
reaction
chance.
to that. I don't think
Yeah.
it's confirmed. I think it's rumored right now, but yeah, you can only imagine the world's outrage at that one. Even at just the rumor, people just can't possibly fathom. But like yeah, it's just this is exciting movie. You know, if they're in the movie, they're probably going to be either in flashbacks or just at the very beginning. Because it's hard for me to say if this is a spoiler or not. If you don't know, okay, I'm going to say spoiler alert. If you somehow don't know anything about the Iliad, anything about the Odyssey, spoiler alert for both of those stories, which will be a, obviously a big part of this movie. Achilles dies famously. Famously, Achilles dies.
Right.
So yeah, either Achilles is just going to be at the very beginning, or in flashbacks, or maybe Achilles' ghost will be talking to Odysseus or something. I'm curious if we're going to see Pyrrhus, which is Achilles' son, who comes and helps them win the war after he dies. Because there's no, because we see in the trailers, in this very trailer we're talking about, them breaking through the gates into Troy, after using the Trojan horse. So Pierce is involved with that. So I wonder if Pierce is going to be in the movie, or they're just cutting that character out entirely. Next we got Godzilla Minus Zero, the first look teaser. It would be picking up in 1949, 2 years after the tumultuous events of Minus One, and continues the story of the Shikishima family as they face an all-new calamity. This release is November 6th, 2026, just in time for my birthday, like 7 days after that. Filmed for IMAX. And since Ryan Gosling, since Ryan Coogler made me a believer, I gotta watch it. But have you seen Minus One?
I haven't seen Minus One.
You gotta see
I heard
Minus
that it
One.
was lovely.
If they re-release it in theaters before this comes out, you gotta watch it in theaters. I'll probably watch it in theaters if they do that. I'll do it back to back. It's that movie legitimately had me tearing up in the theaters at one point, bro. That movie had me feeling things. That movie's good.
I hear that the characters in the film themselves are great.
Yeah. And some of those characters were returning for this one. Very excited for this.
Okay.
Did you know that the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley, his mother and father were hugely responsible for the creation of IMAX?
Yes, I found that out like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
was not.
I don't remember where I found it. I think it might have been him. I think he might have talked about it because his dad passed away not too long ago, and
Yeah.
I think he like talked about it on stage about like his father and how he was a huge part of the creation of IMAX. Him, his father and his mother. I'm like, yeah, that's so random. You know, these goddamn nepo babies. No, I'm joking, but
But yeah, that's crazy. That was a crazy lore drop.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I also heard from Blind Wave's reaction to this trailer. One of the people in there is a huge Godzilla fan. He heard that Takashi Yamazaki's first English-speaking movie, the director of this film, will be produced by J.J. Abrams, and it will be a mecha story.
Oh,
That's exciting.
what is it called again?
Nothing. We don't have a name. We just know that he's making his first English-speaking movie, and it's going to be Max. Okay. I need them to fill the Pacific Rim-sized hole in my heart.
Oh, actually, yeah.
It's like we don't really get like big budget like film like for theaters like mech movies.
Right. I think the Pacific Film ones were the last ones that we got, really.
We don't really get movies like that. Usually, if we do, they're animated. So this will be interesting. Right. But next, we have the official trailer for Street Fighter, and this was a good trailer. You know, I was talking shit last time, but this trailer actually got me. I was afraid that the real life age gap between Ken and Ryu's actor, they're like 10, 15 years apart, would mean that they'd remove their close friendship. And I'm glad that's not the case. They're playing characters that are meant to be around the same age. Maybe Ryu's a little bit older, but like from what I saw in the trailer, it seems like they're supposed to be around the exact same age. And now I'm really excited for this movie. Having Ken be a sellout and Ryu be a hobo is great. That makes so much sense for those characters. You know, the teaser from the Game Awards was good, but it was just pretty visuals, and it didn't get me necessarily excited. And I think what also ruined it was all of the cast coming out, and then Andrew Schultz getting on stage and trying to be funny. I hate that man with a burning passion. I think he is the reason that I hated that movie so much initially, because like, okay, cool trailer, and then I see his face, and then he gets on stage, and I'm like, all right, I don't care anymore. So having a lot less of him made me enjoy this trailer way more. It's still crazy they hired him to play this Japanese guy. It still makes no sense to me. This white as driven snow, racist comedian, they got to play a Japanese dude. Makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah. Also, not sure what they're doing with Chun-Li. Because in the game, she's a cop. But here she's like recruiting people for the Street Fighter tournament. So maybe she's like undercover with Shadowloo to try and like capture M. Bison or something. Because in the games, M. Bison killed her father. I don't imagine they'll change that here. So either way, I'm excited for this film. Way more than before, and I hope it's good. What did you think?
Same. I hope for this film to be good too. Someone in the comments mentioned Kung Fu Hustle, and I see that vibe. Like it's definitely a character ensemble film with fighting.
Kung Fu Hustle is so goddamn good. I love that movie.
Yeah, and it's just that very heightened real life cartoon style. They're really going for it here. So I think I feel like this film looks good, and it has colors, and it has cool set design, and the choreography looks cool, and the camera looks dynamic. Yeah, it's just a lot of cool stuff here. So I feel like the costuming is great.
Yeah.
Like they're not ashamed of how the characters look in the games.
I feel like if there's anything they could have changed, it was Balrog's hairline.
Balrog's hairline is insane. They definitely stuck to it, but yeah. that
the
was a choice.
the next time we've seen in Street Fighter 6 all these characters get these incredible redesigns, especially the black characters. Even though her design overall is good, I hate what they did with Elena's hair in her redesign in Street Fighter 6. It looks horrible, but everything else about her design is great. DJ looks awesome. He looked not so good in every other game he's been in, but in Street Fighter 6 he looks the best he's ever looked in his entire existence. If Balrog ends up in Street Fighter 6 or Street Fighter 7 or whatever, fix that man's hairline.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the people working on Street Fighter now are huge fans of like Black American culture. So I think that if they add him, they're going to understand that they need to fix his hairline.
Yeah.
And don't just make him bald. Don't just make him bald. Just fix his hair.
Yeah.
Or just give him a different hairstyle, like something.
Yeah, at least a buzz. Something else other than a M.
You know what would work for that weird ass hairline are cornrows. Like cornrows would legitimately work if they want to still like get the essence of that weird hairstyle with like spiky in the front. Cornrows kind of already have that natural when like at the tips where they meet, they kind of look spiky. So like you could still do that hairline, but with cornrows, and it won't look like he just has a messed up hairline. It will just look like he has cornrows.
Yeah. I think that could work. I feel like anything would work.
Literally anything will work better than what he has.
Yeah, looking into the credits of folks working on this, cinematographer for this was also the cinematographer for They Clone Tyrone. They also work with Tim Miller a lot, so they did the cinematography for the first Deadpool and for Terminator Dark Fate. They did cinematography for Step Up 3D. His name is Ken Sang. So yeah, he has a pretty diverse background.
Yeah, and a lot of action.
Yeah, and looking at the director, I only knew that he did Bad Trip, like that hidden camera comedy film for Eric Andre and Lil Rel Howery. I did not know that he was the primary director of the Eric Andre show.
Oh wow!
Like he directed 62 of the 68 episodes of the show.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. That doesn't give me hope, but
yeah, it's interesting
because it's like I don't know, man.
And he directed the pilot. He directed the pilot of Twisted Metal.
That's interesting.
So it's interesting. It's very, considering he doesn't really have much action film experience before this. That's the one thing that's kind of raising some questions, but there's a lot of cool people involved with it. So I think it could be pretty cool.
For sure. Next, we have another video game adaptation, Resident Evil. Just Resident Evil, the official teaser. In an all-new story, Resident Evil follows Brian, played by Austin Abrams, a medical courier who unwittingly finds himself in an action-packed, non-stop race for survival as one fateful, horrifying night collapses all around him in chaos. Directed by Zach Kreger of Weapons and Barbarian fame. This trailer debuted at CinemaCon before being released online a few weeks later. And it's releasing September 18th in theaters. Yeah, what did you think of this trailer?
I think that it's a good trailer, and it looks like a well-made horror film. In regards to whether it looks like a Resident Evil film, I don't know. Like, I feel like that's the only thing. There is some survival horror aspects there. There is a guy with a gun running from zombies with an inventory on him. But yeah, it doesn't necessarily feel entirely like Resident Evil. It almost looks like a I Am Legend. Like it almost has the visual language of like an Alone in the Dark, or like you were saying the other day, like Evil Within.
Yeah, it's like you said, it looks like, I have no doubt it's going to be a good movie, but is it going to be a Resident Evil movie?
Yeah.
And Zach Kreger, he did an interview with IGN where he like broke down the trailer and kind of just get into some of that information. He says that it takes place in Raccoon City during the Resident Evil 2 outbreak. And a lot of people online immediately took it out of context, assuming that he means that it's canon to the games, and this is supposed to take place during Resident Evil 2 video game. Um, and people were pointing out, well, that doesn't make sense because it wasn't snowing in Raccoon City. But I don't think that's the case at all. I think everybody's jumping to weird conclusions. It takes place during the outbreak in a completely separate world from the video games, where it just happens to be snowing in Raccoon City that day. And I think the people complaining about it snowing during the Raccoon City outbreak just want to find something to be upset about. Like, calm down.
Yeah, that's so
There-
specific.
There's other things to be upset about. That's not one of them.
Right.
He also said that he's trying to visualize some of the survival horror game like staples, like having to backtrack for items to unlock doors, and the weapon progression of like just finding random weapons strewn about the map. And he's also trying to incorporate like third person camera movements, which is something that Resident Evil 4 specifically revolutionized for video games as a whole. And whenever the lead kind of like is aiming a gun and moving it around, like the camera's actually going to follow it almost as if you're playing a game in third person. And he said that there will also be some first person shots, which is also interesting. Very like Doom, that one Doom movie.
Yeah, that one scene.
But something that he says that concerns me is that there will be less normal zombies and more weird infected creatures. It makes sense for him, but not Resident Evil necessarily. I'm all about the weird infected creatures we get in Resident Evil, but normal zombies are also a big part of things.
Right.
We see like specifically two like weird infected creatures. We see this like fat white dude in a sewer who looks like Baron Harkonnen from Dune, and we see what looks like, and based on his description, is probably going to be very similar to the Rat King from The Last of Us Part 2, which is just like a bunch of zombies merged together. And yeah, it's going to be good, but is it going to be Resident Evil? And I don't necessarily need like Leon or Jill to show up, but I do need Umbrella Corporation. I don't remember seeing anything like that in the trailer. Maybe I just missed it, because it'd be weird if there's no Umbrella in this, because I feel like that's such a key part to all of Resident Evil. You got to have Umbrella. And then also there needs to be, we talked about me, you, and A in a conversation we had at work a few weeks ago. When we watched the trailer together, we talked about how every RE game involves a character investigating a single location for like an extended period of time in an attempt to either like stop the spread of a virus, usually characters like Chris, Leon, or to escape it, like Ethan or Grace. And this trailer is missing that feeling alongside that like level of camp that a lot of Resident Evil games have as well. It's just missing of some key things that make Resident Evil Resident Evil.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. Because there is some camp there, and I mean, different developers, very different visions by people. But when we were talking about Metal Gear Solid and like what the approach should be for adapting that type of material, I think that being as serious is the worst thing you could possibly do. Like to do, yeah, like to bring it back around, like for Metal Gear Solid, doing a super serious, gritty war espionage film just wouldn't really hit the same, because we've seen other war espionage films do it better. Um, I don't think doing it extreme. Also, so many films are based off of movies, so it's. I feel like it's this interesting, like it almost eats itself, because so many video games are based around films. When you adapt a video game into a movie, how do you avoid it from just being some sort of not as interesting version of a movie without the interactive element to it? I feel like that's the
Yeah.
best way I can say it. So, yeah.
For me, I mean, at the end of the day, I just want an adaptation of Resident Evil 1, if I'm being honest with you. But
Yeah.
failing that, what I want from a Resident Evil movie is for it to take place for like vast majority of the movie, an isolated location, a mansion, a hotel, We haven't had a Resident Evil game that takes place entirely in a hotel. The opening section of Resident Evil Requiem takes place in a hotel, but you're not there the whole time, which would have been cool. Like, give me a Resident Evil movie. It's in a hotel. You're playing as a character trying to make it out of the hotel. Things are locked. There's weird puzzles that the person has to solve to get out. They're dealing with zombies, but then eventually they have to deal with some weird infected creature that isn't just a like a mutated normal person. Uh, and somehow they find some underground laboratory because there's always an underground laboratory. Like, I feel like those are the key things, and some of that, I feel like some of that could be here, but like we're just not seeing it yet, and I feel like I just need to see more because right now it doesn't feel Resident Evil.
Right.
Like
Yeah, I
the
agree.
way he talks about it makes it sound like, okay, maybe there will be more there. We just have yet to see it. But moving on to Clayface, another trailer that was debuted at CinemaCon by Peter Safran, one of the heads over at DC Studios, alongside James Gunn. Clayface unravels one man's horrifying descent from rising Hollywood star to revenge-filled monster in a story that explores the loss of one's identity and humanity, corrosive love, and the dark underbelly of scientific ambition. This was a really good trailer and
Yeah.
assuaged some of my concerns about it being like way too grounded. Um, because at the very, not at the very end, but towards the end, we see Clayface in shadow make a giant spiked mace out of his hand, and you don't do that for nothing. I fully
Yeah.
expect that we're going to see the big clay monster by the end of this film, and I'm very excited for that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that there's a scene in the second part of the two-parter Feet of Clay from Batman the Animated Series, which kind of redefined that character in a lot of ways, where um, Clayface is kind of like losing control of his powers and is like shifting between a bunch of different transformations, and you see like two different faces coming out of his body, and it's first very well animated, incredibly well animated, and also like kind of horrifying for a kid show. And I really hope they adapt that scene shot for shot, damn near. Because it's so good. He's like surrounded by TV, seeing a bunch of faces and like transforming into people. It's really cool. And like, yeah, this whole thing has been said thousands of times as being inspired by those two episodes. And you mentioned in a private conversation we had how you didn't know that Mike Flanagan was writing this.
I did not.
Yeah, he was
Uh,
originally going to direct it, but he is working on a different project, so he just wrote it.
yeah. So that alone made me interested. Um, and yeah, the fact that you're saying they're going to be adapting that Batman animated series story, um, and also what you were saying about in a private conversation about characters like Clayface and like Mr. Freeze and how the Batman animated series revitalized a lot of those characters. I think it's cool that that series is informing the way that filmmakers portray the villains and show the villains on the big screen. So yeah, I love that they're going the horror route. I
Absolutely.
love the fact that they're not going entirely grounded with it and not just pulling a Todd Phillips with it. And like they're doing a monster film. Like it is
Yes.
a monster body horror Cronenberg The Fly adjacent
Yeah.
film.
They could have easily gone the direction of the like original, like before Clayface had powers. Basil Collar was his name. He was just a guy who wore a mask and was a murderer. And
Right.
the version of the character in this, Matt Hagen, is a combination of the original Clayface, Basil Carlo, and Matt Hagen from the comics, who was the first Clayface to have powers. Where Basil Carlo was an actor who like face got scarred and he wore a mask and he went around like getting revenge on, I think, the people who he worked under, or I think like directors he worked under, and different like actors that worked on his project for reasons that I can't quite remember. And in this one, it and in the cartoon, they combine those two origins of the actor and the person with clay powers into one. And later down the line, Basil Carlo does eventually also get clay powers, and that's like he becomes like the main version of Clayface again. But this one, they're
Mhm.
going with that Batman the Animated Series, Matt Hagen, who's an actor who his face gets messed up, so he takes this experimental uh, substance, very similar to the substance in a lot of ways, um, where he transforms into a clay monster that can shape his face, his whole body, into anything he wants.
Yeah.
And at the end of this trailer, people pointed out that the tub that he's in isn't just he's in a tub; he is the tub.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
He is the tub that he's in. And
Oh my
that's
god.
insane. And then we see him like wipe his face, and it's like, how do they do that effect? That's cool. I'm very
Yeah.
excited for this. And
You know?
you were talking about how this is a horror movie and how that's a good thing. And Clayface is the kind of stuff we just need more from comic movies, so that people stop calling it a genre. Comics are a
Yeah.
medium, superheroes and villains are characters that fit into genres, right? We need
Yeah.
more genre stories within comic book media rather than generic comic book movies made with, like the Marvel formula that they've cultivated over the last few decades. And
Exactly.
bringing Star Wars into that as well, because they're going through a very similar problem. The best projects from Marvel and Star Wars and other franchises like it have been the ones that delve into specific genres and set them within their respective universes versus trying to make a superhero or Star Wars movie just like their genres themselves, which isn't the case. You can't just be like, oh, let's make a Marvel movie, let's make a Star Wars movie. No.
Exactly. Yeah.
Andor is a political thriller set in Star Wars, just like
Yeah.
Captain America: The Winter Soldier was a political espionage, like spy thriller set within Marvel universe. Unfortunately,
Exactly.
I don't have any good examples from Marvel today
Yeah. There's
where
not
they
that
do
many.
this, because they don't do this. They don't tell genre stories set in the Marvel universe anymore. They just tell generic Marvel stories, and that sucks.
Yeah.
And we need more of this. And I'm glad we're getting it from DC, where they're being like, no, we're going to tell a horror story. We're going to tell a monster story, and we're going to set it in DC. And that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And like that, and I agree that is the way it should be. Um, Especially like what you mentioned in the case of Marvel, in regards to films that work individually as films without the Marvel continuity or anything of the sort. The Winter Soldier really is kind of the only one, really. Not that many of them. Um, and yeah, well said about Star Wars. Because yeah, J.J. Abrams' entire you could tell his mindset with the Force Awakens is we got to make yeah, goodness, I don't even know where to start. It's like the prequels. George Lucas changed up the entire visual language of Star Wars and wanted to do something fresh and different. And then everyone complained about it. So then they got J.J. Abrams to be like, look, TIE fighters. And yeah, Star Wars is, yeah, it's not as much a universe anymore as much as it really
Dude,
is just
uh,
film. It is a genre. You're right.
imagine if the sequels were like Andor low key, but still with the Jedi. Like, imagine if it was, they decided to go in a completely different direction. They decided to go kind of grounded, not completely, but somewhat more grounded, but like the same tone as Andor, but with Jedi.
That
Dude,
could be cool.
that would have been sick.
That would have.
Especially
Yeah.
since the whole point of the sequels are how fascism rises again when the universe becomes complacent, which is
Right.
exactly what's happening in America today.
Yeah.
And of course, Andor touches on that and references that a lot. Moving on to the Batman Part 2 teasers. We've been getting a lot from Matt Reeves on socials, starting with some pictures of in-camera shots of the Batmobile driving through snow with the hashtag snow tires. And then after that, we got tons of casting announcements. So, according to discussing films on Twitter, they confirmed the cast so far. The returning cast they have are, of course, Robert Pattinson as Batman, Andy Serkis as Alfred, Colin Farrell as the Penguin, Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon, Jamie Lawson as Mayor Belle Real, which I didn't know much about Jamie Lawson, and I didn't even realize that was her until after Sinners, and I was like, I didn't
Yeah.
even realize that was the same person. Now I hope she has a much bigger role this time around.
Right.
Gil Perez Abraham as Arthur Martinez, and the new cast with some speculative characters, nothing confirmed. We have Sebastian Stan potentially as Harvey Dent, Scarlett Johansson, which surprised me. I only just saw this earlier. The Scarlett Johansson one, potentially as Gilda Dent. Charles Dance potentially as Harvey Dent's father, Christopher Dent, and then some to be announced. We have Sebastian Koch and Brian Tyree Henry, which I'm curious who they're going to be playing.
Right.
I think somebody, no, I think Charles Dance. Someone else suggested maybe Charles Dance is playing Hugo Strange, and Brian Tyree Henry. I don't know. It could be anybody.
Yeah.
I gotta look up
What,
Sebastian Koch because I don't know if I know who that is.
what if Brian Tyree Henry's Mr. Freeze?
That'd be interesting. Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, I'm very curious to just know who are the villains going to be. And this
Yeah.
is supposedly going to be released on October 1st next year, not this year. um,
Yeah.
like you said, Mr. Freeze, right? That has been something people have been assuming for a while, based on some like teases that Matt Reeves did a long time ago. And it's taking place during winter, so maybe. But then of course you have Harvey Dent in this. I don't think he should become Two Face in this. I think he should like start the path of becoming Two Face, and then we dive into that in another movie. Unless he's just going to be the main villain. Have you seen the Penguin?
I have not seen the Penguin, but I hear it's great.
The
I
way
hear it's great.
that definitely sets up some stuff that's going to happen in these movies, partially.
Okay.
Like certain characters in that, other than the Penguin, obviously, that show up in that are for sure going to reappear in this. We're definitely going to get Catwoman back. So like, yeah, I'm curious. We don't have a lot to go off of. We just know who's going to be in it, and potentially like Sebastian Stan makes sense as Harvey Dent. And I can't imagine anything else. I'm gonna be surprised if it's anything else. Watch it be like goddamn. What's his name? It's gonna be Hush. It's gonna be Thomas something. I can't remember his name. Thomas Elliott. That's exactly what it's gonna be. Thomas Elliott is like a childhood friend of Bruce's, who like at one point like disguises himself as Bruce in the Batman Hush comics. I'm like, watch that be who Sebastian Stan is playing. But yeah, and Scarlett Johansson is gonna be like Harley Quinn or some shit.
Is Joker gonna be in this film?
That's a good question because he was in the last one, in the end credits and in a deleted scene. So
Yeah.
I hope they change his design. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I think they need to get over the scarred face bullshit. Just give him. He wears makeup. That's it. The Joker is just a normal guy wearing clown makeup. He doesn't need to have scars on his face.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of it. He does need scars. Scars are ridiculous. I'm glad that scene was deleted. That way we don't have a 100% this is what he has to look like type situation. Because I don't think they should do the scars. It's weird. Yeah, next we have some sad news before we get into reviews.
Okay.
Disney is laying off over 1,000 employees, including nearly the entire Academy Award-winning visual development team at Marvel Studios.
Wow.
Only a skeleton crew remains to coordinate hiring on a per-project basis. This is coming from Rob Sokowitz at Forbes. These are the artists, illustrators, character designers, environment designers, and other technical specialists responsible for the look of Marvel's film and television productions, from The Avengers to Guardians of the Galaxy to Daredevil. Many have been with Marvel for a decade or more. The people who made the MCU what it is visually, people I've looked up to for years, like Andy Park, man. Look up Andy Park, man. Andy Park's art, so good. They're being fired, and it's crazy. This is 100% so that they can start using generative AI going forward.
I know for sure.
And that sucks. That sucks so hard.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. All of these people, like billions of dollars you have made because of the hard work of these people, and you just go, get out of here. We're just going to use AI. Insane. Absolutely insane. And we're just going to use your work to fuel our AI too. Because we own the work you made.
Yeah, that's disgusting. Wow.
I'm not, there's no confirmation on that. That's my assumption.
But yeah, wow. No, clearly Disney wants to get into the AI game, especially with that since collapsed Sora AI deal that was going on. But yeah, I'm looking at IG. Yeah, this is insane. Yeah.
You look at some of Andy Park's concept art and you go, why did they use this? Why did they go what they went with? Because like I'll never blame the concept artist for the final product of these films because they always, every single time they draw a comic accurate version of these costumes that looks incredible, and then they don't. That whoever makes the decision above them never chooses that one. It's frustrating. There's some really good Captain America costume concept art that I'm like, why didn't they use this?
Yeah. And I'm looking at this art right now. It's very good looking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Andy Park was good. I still need to pick up. There's a book full of their concept art that I need to pick that up. Definitely now that they're all gone, like crazy
Right.
work. Yeah, and I
That
also,
is
sorry, what you can say?
yeah. Oh, that is sad news. Yeah.
Yeah, Disney has also laid off its entire home entertainment team, according to the Wrap, as streaming, continues to dominate physical media like DVDs and Blu-rays. No longer their focus, so they just scrapping that team too. And it's like, come on now, come on, get out of here. It's crazy. The movie was
Yeah.
mid, but the costume design for the Marvels was really good. And Andy Park worked on that. I gotta watch that again because maybe it's not as mid as I remember it being, but it probably is. That movie kind of just came and went.
Yeah, it just kind
But
of happened.
the costume design in that movie is really good, though. Some of the best that they've done so far, I think, especially for Captain Marvel herself. Unfortunately, she has a great costume that suffers from muted colors. It's like a really good design, but the colors are just way too dark. And it's weird.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Like it's one where she has
That's
like a giant star on her chest, and it's like that costume is perfect,
yeah.
but it's just way too dark.
Yeah, it is very dark. It's like they turned the saturation down on it.
Like
Yeah.
it looks ripped out of the comics, but uh, it just it's like every costume. Like I recently was seeing a lot of people talking about uh, how dark Captain America's costume is in Avengers Endgame. How it like damn near looks like it's just black and gray and brown instead of red, white, and blue.
Right.
And like
Yeah.
they gave him something a little bit more. Like they gave him the scales finally, which is something I had been wanting on the costume for a long time. But then they made it dark as hell.
Right.
I don't know. Like there's some real good ideas that they have, and then they get lost in translation.
Oh, for sure. And I feel like the color grade definitely comes into play as well because Marvel films are the most gray looking films ever made.
And they didn't used to be. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. Yeah.
It's just it was the post like Avengers movies where Infinity War wasn't that gray, honestly. It was Endgame that was more gray.
Yeah.
And like the Russo brothers and their visual style kind of just ended up affecting everything else in a way. Because like it worked for Winter Soldier because of the type of story they were telling there, but like not every movie needs to look like the Winter Soldier. Not every movie is a political thriller.
Exactly. Again, not Marvel isn't a genre.
Yeah.
They should make genre films within the universe, not the other way around.
Getting into some reviews, I want to talk a little bit more about Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Hmm.
This is easily my second favorite Bond film after No Time to Die. George Lazenby is great, and his only outing is Bond. And Diana Vegas Tracy is the best Bond girl so far. Not only is she way more capable than any have been so far, but she also has way more agency than any Bond girl. And she's also the only one so far in my watch through the series, excluding some of the like Daniel Craig ones I've watched. Ignore those. Pretend those don't exist for now. She is the only one to actually make Bond want to settle down.
Mm.
And yeah, she's real cool. And the score, brother, the score by John Barry was incredible and featured Louis Armstrong on several tracks,
Really?
including a song that was his last ever studio recording before he passed away, which was the
Wait,
love
what?
theme of the movie called "We Have All the Time in the World."
I'm looking it up right now. Wow.
Yeah, his last studio recording. And my personal favorite track, and easily my second favorite James Bond song, period, from any of the films, after the original main theme, of course, is Escape from Peace Gloria, which also features Louis Armstrong on the trumpets. It is so damn good. I was going to send it to you beforehand, but I didn't have enough time. When you get the chance, you got to listen to this.
I bet.
You got to listen to this. Escape from Peace Gloria. And you'll recognize it. because they play a version of this song a lot in the 007 First Light trailers. And I heard it there before I heard it in this movie. And I was like, oh, I recognize that. Because when I heard it in the trailers, I was like, oh, this must just be a really popular James Bond song they play all the time. It's like, no, it's a very specific song from On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And it's real good. And I'm glad that they brought it back and used it a lot in those trailers. And I hope it's actually used in the game, because it's a good song. And yeah, this movie had an extremely racist moment befitting its release year of 1969. So they had a scene, right? It's James Bond, so there's just a bunch of sexy ladies, right? But there's specifically a bunch of sexy ladies from different cultures across the planet, right? A bunch of different races, and they all came to this place for like medical attention, for very specific things. And they're eating dinner together, but they're all eating different food. And there's a second table full of mostly people of color, and the food that they're eating is crazy. They cut right, and it's just a like Asian woman, vague Asian woman, don't know what kind of Asian, just eating rice.
Okay.
And then there's an Indian woman eating naan, just naan.
Okay.
Nothing else, just naan. On the plate is just naan. You get to the black person, you're like, okay, here we go. Here we go. What's she eating? Chitlins, fried chicken.
Right.
What's going on? My brother in Christ, she was eating bananas.
Okay. Yeah, wrap it up.
It was as bad could be.
Crazy.
I would have preferred chicken. I wouldn't have preferred watermelon. Watermelon would have been worse.
Yeah.
But
That would have been way too crazy. Yeah.
I damn sure would have preferred chicken.
Yeah. But
Bananas is crazy.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. Now I remembered. Oh wait, this movie came out in 1969. Of course they did this. Wild. I won't spoil it, but the ending of the movie as a whole, crazy. And unfortunately, I hear the next movie does not pick up where this left off, and Sean Connery comes back, and it's like unfortunate.
Why didn't they continue with George Lazenby?
He didn't want to do another one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I looking it up after the fact, just hearing what did the public think at the time and what did people think now? It was like at the time people weren't messing with it, but over the time it's like become like a cult classic and people consider it to be one of the best Bond films. And I'm like, yeah, I see it. It is. It's real good. Looking at it through a modern lens, I love every single second of it. But next we have Gary, a special from The Bear, starring and written by Eben Moss Bachrach and John Bernthal. It follows their characters, Richie and Michael, on a short trip from Chicago to Gary, Indiana, which I didn't know they were that damn close to each other. They're only 30 minutes away from each other. I had no idea. I thought when they were like, oh, the episode's about them going to Gary. Oh, it's going to be what, like a 2-hour trip? No.
Yeah, like a road trip, yeah.
It's 30 minutes. And then the whole episode is just them in Gary because they got there immediately because it's only 30 minutes, which I get. I doubt we have European viewers, but I know to European people out there, that's a century. That's forever. A 30-minute drive. Good God.
Yeah, goodness, what?
But to us, that's a Tuesday.
Yeah, that's my commute. Yeah.
But it's Gary is one of those towns very similar to our own town of Baltimore. It's got a real bad rep. And growing up in a place with a rep like that, I like to give them some grace because I'm like, I don't want to assume the worst. Because people already assume the worst about where I'm from, despite the fact that Baltimore is nowhere near as bad as people think it is. Like maybe at some point it was before I was alive, but ever since I've been alive, it's been pretty good. So I don't want to assume Gary is as bad as it's always been.
No, right, yeah.
Because who knows? Maybe it's not. So yeah, they go to Gary, and Richie is easily one of, if not the best character in the show. And one of the best episodes of the show focuses on him exclusively, Forks. So this continues the trend of Richie episodes being great. And Bernthal as Michael only adds to that greatness as we see their very subtly toxic relationship play out in real time and how Richie kind of hid a lot of the bad things about Mike from his family to kind of like spare them. And this is just another emotionally draining episode of The Bear. It's only like an hour long. Do you watch The Bear? Have you seen The Bear?
I haven't watched much of it, but I am familiar with like some of the storylines and the
Yeah. So you
characters.
know about Michael. Michael died at the very
Yeah.
beginning. At the very in the first episode, they're like, Michael's dead. And that's why Carmen comes back to Chicago. To
Right.
the beef to take over his brother's restaurant. And he had drug problems. And in another incredible episode called Fishes, we see a flashback to them having, I think, a Thanksgiving dinner.
Mm.
And we see both first off, star-studded cast. This episode was crazy. There's the actors in that episode, ridiculous.
Yeah.
The mother is played by an actress I love whose name I always forget. I think she might be
But Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, I think she supports this show, so I don't know if I love her as much as I used to. But like, just the cast is crazy in that episode. And yeah, like, she potentially has bipolar, it's like insinuated, and Mike has adopted that, and they both abuse substances. And yeah, you see that really come out in this episode, that potential bipolar disorder, and him kind of like just switching moods very quickly. And again, his mother was alcoholic, he's into cocaine, and it's just like, yeah, he was just very mean to Mike, and you can see Mike having to like rein him in a lot of the time. And
Mm.
Richie is a very like positive person, and he's constantly trying to keep that positivity, whereas Michael's the complete opposite, always negative all the time, and Richie's always trying to keep his energy up, and it was just very heartbreaking, very heartbreaking. You can tell he probably also suffers from depression. Like, he had a lot going on that he just didn't get the proper help for, and unfortunately that led to him taking his own life. Very, very sad story, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The Bear's a great show. Very, like I said, very emotionally draining. You gotta catch up. You gotta watch it.
Yeah.
They're almost on season like what, 5?
5? And I think this is going to be the last one now.
Yeah. But next we have Daredevil Born Again. Much better season than the first one. First season wasn't bad because there's just no such thing as a bad Daredevil story, not even in comics. You just can't find one. But it wasn't as good as seasons 3 or 1 of the Netflix series. I would say it was just as good as season 2 of the Netflix series. Have you seen any of the Netflix Daredevil?
I have not seen any of the Netflix Daredevil. The closest I
Yeah.
got to it was the Defenders.
You
Yeah.
watched the Defenders, but you didn't watch Daredevil.
Yeah, I'm a crazy person, man.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But episode 5 was incredible. It was a mix of flashbacks from both Daredevil and Kingpin, of
Okay.
essentially a better time in their lives, mixed in with the modern day where they're both in dire straits. And Fisk gradually returning to his Kingpin ways, which of course results in his downfall, was great. And Vincent D'Onofrio, man, he kills it. He continues to kill it as Kingpin. And his final eruption in full Kingpin mode at the end is insane. It is ridiculous what he does and ultimately gets away with.
For real.
This season, like I said, huge step up over the last one. And mostly because it was a fully cohesive story rather than being rewritten partway through after like fan and actor complaints from Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie, what's his last name?
Charlie Cox.
Charlie Cox, yeah. So yeah, they had to make a lot of changes season 1, and it resulted in a bit of a jumbled mess. And this one, it's more cohesive and resulted in a better story overall. And I'm very excited to see where it goes next because we got the return of some of those Defenders in this very show, which was low-key, yeah, I guess technically leaked. Because like
Yeah.
people had set photos of, was it Luke Cage and Iron Fist on the next season of the show.
That's sucks.
Jessica Jones was in the trailer, so we knew she was going to be in this. And for anybody who reads the comics, that you know that Jessica Jones and Luke Cage have a kid together, and her kid is in this show. So we knew Luke Cage had to show up eventually. And he showed up at the very end. And in the comics, he eventually runs for mayor himself. So I assume we're going to have that arc. Do you care about spoilers? Because there's something I
No,
want
it's
to
all
talk about.
good.
So,
I'll go.
spoiler alert for Daredevil Born Again. Since we're talking spoilers, I'll just tell you what he did. So, Fisk is cornered, right? They were having a court case, and First off, and this is going to lead into why I wanted to talk about spoilers. Uh, Matt Murdock reveals that he's Daredevil to the public on camera. In a court case
Really?
to like save Karen's life, or I guess technically her life, because if she went to jail, they were going to kill her for sure. So yeah, he was defending her and then was like, "I'm Daredevil," and like threw his cane, had it bounce between the walls and then caught it. um,
Mm.
and yeah, and so like Kingpin's being pushed to the edge. He's like losing this court case. He's losing face. He's doing a bunch of bad stuff. You know, he essentially has ice going around, you know, rounding people up, and he just breaks and just goes, open the door, lets in a bunch of these like protesters, and he just grabs one. Oh no, he punches him, and the dude flies back into the wall, dead immediately.
Whoa.
He picks up a dude, slams his back into a corner of a wall, and folds him in half, like that one Friday the 13th movie.
Goodness.
And like he's just going on a rampage, killing people. And you know what happens? They tell him step down from mayorship and just leave the country. No jail,
What?
no nothing. They just tell him go to your private island, because he has a private island. Because of course he does. And yeah, he gets away with it. He literally gets away with murder.
He gets away
Multiple murders.
from it. Wow.
He gets away with a murder spree. It's crazy. And Daredevil, you know what happens to him? He goes to jail.
What?
He killed nobody. He tried to kill very in a moment of weakness. He pushed Bullseye off a roof and almost killed him. And he regretted it, and he stopped being Daredevil for a while. But of course, it's Daredevil, so he put the costume back on. But other than that, he hasn't done anything to anybody that bad. But he goes to jail.
Right.
And this is leading into one of two things. Either Iron Fist is going to briefly wear the Daredevil costume, because that happens in the comics, or we're finally going to get the return of another character from the Netflix era, Elektra, and she's going to become Daredevil, which is also a thing that happens in the comics. Like currently in the comics, she has been Daredevil since like 2019, alongside Matt Murdock. So there's two Daredevils. I'm very excited for that. And the chances are we might get both.
Yeah, maybe.
We might get Iron Fist being Daredevil for a while, and then she also shows up and she's also Daredevil. That could be cool. But very excited for the next season. You know, we're getting Luke Cage back.
Right.
I'm hoping he joins the Avengers at some point, because there's an Avengers team where he leads it that's really good, that I want them to do. And they've low-key introduced almost every single character from that team very recently, because it's She-Hulk, White Tiger, who is in this show, Monica Rambeau, She-Hulk, unless I already said that, Spider-Man, and there are two other ones that they haven't shown yet, but I'm like, bring my man Luke Cage back, make him mayor, and then make him Avenger. But also, presumably he was off doing missions for the Thunderbolts, who are now the new Avengers, if you've seen that movie. Even if you haven't seen the movie, they kind of like let the cat out the bag like a week afterwards with all the advertising with the new Avengers stuff all across everywhere.
Right. We're gonna get this extra second week money.
Yeah, and I mean it worked. So, and it's a good movie. It was a good movie. It's one of their better ones in recent times. And yeah, presumably he was working with the new Avengers, so maybe that was him being on the Avengers for a little while, and we'll get like flashbacks to that eventually somewhere. Maybe the next Avengers movie after the next Avengers movies, like the actual proper Avengers movie that isn't just crossover central. We might actually get that story.
Right.
And yeah, very excited to see where they go with these characters, with this street level, Marvel, and that will be partially contained with Spider-Man, where Daredevil may show up, which could be interesting.
It could be.
It'd be interesting if Daredevil does show up, but it's Iron Fist. It's Iron Fist in the Daredevil costume fighting the Hand with Spider-Man. That would actually be really cool.
Yeah, that could be fun. I feel like with them doing more New York grounded based stories, I feel like the potential there for all of that stuff could be cool.
I feel like
I-
we got to see how Spider-Man was handling this in his movie, because it's like there's no way like this shit was happening all across the city. He was he was trying to take down all vigilantes, and it was focused on Daredevil, of course, but it's like this had to have been affecting other people. Every superhero in the Marvel universe is in New York.
Exactly. They all live there. Got stipends. all of them live in New York.
Yeah.
Um, but one thing about Kingpin not being in New York anymore does kind of make me bummed that there's no potential of a Spider-Man Kingpin crossover anytime soon.
I hope we get it. The only reason, like, Spider-Man cannot appear in TV form without
Oh, see,
without Sony's approval, and that's why he. Otherwise, I think he probably would have showed up in this. Um,
mm,
but I think the other way around, it can happen. So I think
okay.
we'll see it eventually. But yeah, it's crazy that we
Yeah,
haven't had it yet. Um, yeah. Other than animated movies, which is so cool, but like, yeah, I want to see specifically Vincent D'Onofrio.
no, same. Yeah,
I mean, continuing on that, we got Punisher One Last Kill, which came out last week as a recording, also starring and written by Burnflow, very similar to the Bear episode. And this movie was basically just the Raid, but with Punisher, where
really.
the Punisher he's trying to quit being the Punisher, and he's got a lot of mental health issues going on after, he's got PTSD and just a lot going on mentally, and he's trying to give it up, and he almost like completely gives up. He almost takes his life, but then he stops because he's just seeing like visions of his daughter, and that gets him to stop. He goes home, and one of the mother of a family of people that he killed, who is a part of this big gang, puts a hit out on him. So the whole movie is him in his apartment building fighting all of these people that are coming after him, and
Really?
they're searching for him. They don't know where he is, so they're breaking into other people's apartments. It's just dozens of people. So he goes through and he's killing them all to stop them from hurting other people. And it's just him defending people. And then towards the end, of course, the whole point is basically just him finally putting the revenge plot to rest and having Frank decide that he can help people as the Punisher rather than having to just do it for revenge. Because at this point, the reason he was about to quit is because he finally killed the last bit of people who had involvement in killing his family. So he was done.
Right.
But now he's decided to be the Punisher for good. And we'll see more of that in Spider-Man. Which is, yeah,
Mm,
it was fun. Like the story was good. It wasn't anything crazy, but the action was really the highlight.
okay.
Unfortunately, I'm learning that Jaron Bernthal might not be a good person.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
He might be a fan of the cops in the military in a way that I'm not a fan of.
Yes. Yeah. It's very.
Especially playing a character like Punisher and thinking that way is crazy.
Yeah. Like he is definitely a hoorah type guy. Definitely very simplify and like really, really. He.
And really, really against naps.
Yeah.
That's just for the
Like.
birds.
Right. It's just like he. I've seen him kind of dip his toe into the Rogan verse a bit, and like sometimes he can kind of come off libertarian y, and yeah, great performer, great actor, very talented. But yeah, he does seem that, especially with the like, I think it's
we
David Simon did another Baltimore show like
Yeah,
We
we own
Own the
this.
City.
Yeah, we own the city
We Own the City,
where he played a
and
cop.
yeah, where he played a cop and said like,
He took the wrong
"Gang,
lessons from this show that was very much about how the cops suck in Baltimore.
you feel me?" And like, you just on Stephen Colbert, he just straight up said like, "Yeah, like the policing system isn't flawed. Like there's or said that there's good people, which is like sure, like no one disagrees that there's good people that exist, but
But when the system's rotten, it's hard to be a
film
good person. No matter how hard you try, the system just doesn't allow for good people.
exactly. And John Berthaud didn't get to that, and I think it's kind of goodness that could be a whole conversation in itself. David Simon and how like he is a good writer, but often can be very vague when it comes to stuff that centers black folks. And like he just will not mention anti-blackness, structural inequality in a detailed way. it's like the system chews you up and spits you out, and it's like, well, why does it chew you up and spits you out? Like sometimes the writing is so good that it leads to you forgetting that class analysis really just comes down to we live in a society.
But last but certainly not least, we have Mortal Kombat 2, which was essentially all the best parts of the first film plus more. The action continues to be great. And the story is a bit better this time as we focus on Johnny Cage and Katana instead of an OC. Uh, it's better than the first and a good movie, but I know that these movies can be so much better than this. Like, it's still nothing special. You know, I grew up, and a lot of people grow up and still do watch shonen anime, and they make these very action focused tournament arcs very meaningful with good world building and good stories and meaningful character arcs. If they can do that, Mortal Kombat can do that.
Yeah.
This is absolutely not the best you can do. And we need to stop pretending like this is. People keep like going like, oh no, this is all Mortal Kombat can be. And it's like, no, it isn't. It could be so much better than this. You know what we need? An animated Mortal Kombat cartoon again. That's what we need. Okay. We need it to be a longer story, longer format. And we need to be animated. That's what we need. That's what we need of almost every video game adaptation. Just make it animated.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still a fun movie though. At the end of the day, it was still fun. Like I said, good action. Unfortunately, Carl Urban's not bad as Johnny Cage, but he's not the best. Somebody pointed it out, and now I just can't stop seeing it. Glenn Powell would have been so much better as Johnny Cage.
I didn't even think about that. That would have been a good casting choice.
Glenn Powell, Ryan Gosling, like there's so many better choices than Carl Urban of all people. Crazy. Like
he was too busy as Star Fox.
Yeah, his very noticeable American accent, plus his just presence, just didn't fully give Johnny Cage. It didn't really do Johnny justice. And yeah, I think they should have went with a younger Johnny, if I'm being honest. Also, Shao Kahn was kind of a pushover. At some point, he gains immortality. And he only starts to win fights because he's immortal. Otherwise, he's getting his ass beat every time he fights somebody. He was not intimidating at all. He looked cool. The guy playing him, Martin Ford, did a good job. But Shao Kahn in general was kind of disappointing. But also, very recently, Martin Ford has displayed interest in wanting to play either Bane or Killer Croc in the DCU. And to that I say, fuck no. What are you talking about? You're a good Shao Kahn. But Bane is Latino.
Yeah.
And Killer Croc is black. Both of these characters' races have been this way since inception. Don't let the Dark Knight Rises and Batman and Robin fool you. You watch any cartoon that Bane is in, other than Harley Quinn, where they do a parody of Dark Knight Rises, he has a clear accent.
He does.
He also dresses like a luchador.
He does.
What are we talking about?
That is the entire point.
He's from a fictional, like South American country, like island in the Caribbean. Like, come on now, Central American. So like, yeah, also, as bad as the movie is, and as racist as their depiction of him at Loki is, Killer Croc is very clearly black in Suicide Squad, and he's played by a black man. Mm-hmm. They were like, man, I cannot get over the fact they had that man watching BET, and his like his whole thing was that he just wanted BET, and it's crazy. It was so crazy. And the makeup on him was actually really good though. It's just the guy playing him didn't have the proper size for the character. So like, yeah, get another dude, do very similar makeup to that, but just get a bigger guy.
Yeah.
If he wasn't as old as he is now, Kevin Graveau would be an incredible Killer Croc. Kevin Graveau is a writer and an actor. He played. You ever watch the Underworld movies?
I haven't.
You haven't. So he plays a werewolf in those movies. He's also co-creator of the series. And he plays a werewolf in just big black dude. he voices Black Beetle in Young Justice. He also he writes for comics as well. He created the character Blue Marvel. Like he's a cool dude. Does some cool stuff. And yeah, if he wasn't as old as he is, because he's kind of older at this point, I think
I see what
he'd
you
be
mean.
good. Yeah, but yeah, they just need a big black dude to play that character, and also a big Latino dude
Yeah,
to
they do.
play goddamn Bane. And I want Bane. Bane is my favorite Batman villain. I want Bane. Trust me, I want Bane, but I don't want a white Bane again. Okay, we need to put that. That's done. We're done with white Banes. No more white Banes. James
Yeah.
Gunn, I swear to God, if I see a white Bane, we're gonna have a problem. But yeah, this movie, it was cool. It was fun. I think
Okay.
it's definitely worth the watch, I would say. But
Okay.
if you're
But and
expecting a great movie, don't. Just expect fun. Expect to have a good time.
okay. How was the action?
Action was good. It was great. I mean, thankfully they didn't spoil it completely, but there's like a clip that they showed of uh Liu Kang and Kuglao fighting, and it's awesome. And then in the movie, luckily they cut out a lot of the fight, so it wasn't like completely spoiled for me because I watched that clip and it was great. It's easily the best fight in the movie too, and there's some other good fights, but that one definitely takes the cake. It's good. The fighting's good. And Kano's still funny. Kano's the like probably the best part of the first movie. Kano is so goddamn funny in this. And he's very funny in the first one. They're most likely going to make a third one. I don't know how well it did, like financially, but
Yeah, let me see. Oh, it made 101 million on an 80 million budget, so
okay.
it didn't do too good.
Yeah, I hate to see it. I mean, that's not a small budget, but like, it's just in comparison to other movies of its type, budgets it's sometimes are bigger than that. But it made its money back, and that's good. And they need to don't don't raise the budget too much.
Mhm.
Leave the budget around like 80. That's good. That's a good budget for this
Yeah, I feel
movie.
like 80 is a good, healthy
It's
number.
a good healthy number, and you just need the less CGI, more actual fighting because there is a decent amount of CGI in this, and it doesn't all look great. Less CGI,
Yeah,
less CGI, more hand to hand fighting.
yeah,
And you focus on that, you can keep the budget down. You can keep making good, fun martial arts movies and make a lot of money on them. That's all you gotta do. That's all people really want from these movies.
just go Blumhouse with it, and just $10 million budget and make back like 150% of it.
Yeah,
Just shoot it for the low. Get Out was shot for like $4 or $5 million.
yeah. I don't necessarily think. I feel like they might just. I think they low key. I think this is a case of like CGI is a crutch. Is the Mortal Kombat movies like? I feel like they use it a bit much. I don't feel like they need
Okay,
to use it as much as they do.
got you.
Like Kung Lao's had that had to be CGI, of course, but and Liu Kang has fire. But there are some cases where they're using it where I'm like, I don't know if you need a CGI here. It's kind of unnecessary.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's a fun movie. Hello, everyone. Dijon here, back with another solo review. This time for The Mandalorian and Grogu. It came out, and I went to see it opening night after I recorded with Christian. So I'm gonna do this one myself. And in next month's TV and film episode, you will hear me review it alongside Christian. Whether or not he's seen it, I'll just talk more about it. Christian's great at asking questions, which will help me, elaborate on my thoughts. But to just give you a quicker, shorter one, spoiler free, of course. I personally really liked this movie. I know you're gonna be hearing a lot of people talking down on this film, and understandably to an extent. I definitely see a lot of the flaws others do, but I think part of why I'm so positive on it is because I just wanted more Star Wars. I wanted to sit down in a movie theater and just get good Star Wars action and comedy and visuals and storytelling. It's admittedly a bit light on character progression for the Mandalorian or Grogu. And it's written for a TikTok audience for sure, where dialogue is repeated so many times because they know people are watching on their phones. Very unfortunate side effect of short attention spans. And I personally don't think movies should be trying to cater towards those people. The people that are on their phones watching a movie are probably watching it at home and have the ability to rewind if they need to. So I think this is completely unnecessary. But anyway, What did I like? Uh, it was a back to basics thrill ride, specifically for The Mandalorian. I wasn't the biggest fan of season three. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it nearly as much as seasons one and two. I'm also I think I'm a much bigger fan of season two than some. I don't think people think season two is bad, but they definitely think it's not as good as the first. In my opinion, season one and two are equal, really good. I hated that Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, and Grogu's reunion was it happened prematurely in the Book of Boba Fett in like those one or two episodes that were basically just Mandalorian episodes sandwiched in between episodes of the Book of Boba Fett. I thought that was a very strange decision. As good as those episodes were, I think that at least half of season three of the Mandalorian should have been Din wrestling with should he go back and get Grogu? Should he let Grogu train? You know, all that jazz, and Grogu doing the same with Luke. And I think I was just like, I think that story arc never really happening in that way kind of really resulted in me disliking season three a lot, as well as just it's called The Mandalorian, so I'm definitely not mad at it having more Mandalorians, but I hate that the focus was taken away from Din and Grogu so much in season three. It was disappointing. Not bad, but disappointing. Honestly, I think season three is due for a rewatch for me. I think I might enjoy it much more on a rewatch, especially after watching this movie. But back to the movie itself, back to basics through a ride. It is just a bounty hunting movie. That's the whole movie, bounty hunting, and you know that's where it started. You know, The Mandalorian is a classic example of something I talked about earlier in this episode, where franchises like Star Wars and Marvel tend to just make Star Wars and Marvel movies and TV shows, but The Mandalorian was a western. It's a very specific genre set within the Star Wars universe, just like Andor, spy espionage, political thriller set in Star Wars. You know, I think that's what we need more of. Taking very specific genres and setting it in Marvel, setting it in DC, setting it in Star Wars, so on and so forth. And Book of Boba Fett, or excuse me, The Mandalorian season one and two were that. This movie gets back to just bounty hunting. I wouldn't say it's as much of it's not nearly, I feel like, as much of a Western as those first two seasons are, but it definitely kind of gets back to that in a lot of ways that I really enjoyed. The action's phenomenal. Like, as always, the action in the show is great. It's great in this as well. There isn't a bad fight scene among them. They're all really good. And it's also surprisingly funny. Like Mandalorian's always had its comedy moments, but it's not like this one was so funny. And as you can imagine, all the funny moments happen with Grogu, and they are hysterical. There's a very long portion of this movie that's just Grogu, because at the end of the day, the movie it's called Mandalorian and Grogu, so we get a lot of Grogu, and it's really fun. So yeah, it was funny. It was action packed. If I were to get into some negatives, it felt like half a season of the show, which is, you know, with its runtime at 2 hours and 12 minutes, is basically what it was, just about. And it would have been better served as such, as actually half of a season of the show, because there's little like actual story here. If you just want action and comedy and fun visuals, you'll get that. But if you're looking for substance, you're not going to get that here. And I think, and you know, I know some people are of the mind that you're not going to get that when you walk into a movie theater to watch something like this. I don't think that is necessarily the case. Or should it be the case? You should be able to watch something like this and get substance. But this is one of those rare cases where I kind of don't care, because it's been so long since we had a Star Wars movie in theaters that I kind of was just like, I was just having a good time. Like I truly cannot deny the fun I had with this movie. My rating is going to surprise a lot of people. I give this a 4 out of 5 on my personal scale. I was never bored. I was never not entertained. I had a good time despite its flaws, despite its floaty, vapid, if you could say, story. It was just fun, man. It was fun. Uh, you know, if this was a season of the show, and you had those, I would say this is probably like 3 episodes in equivalent seasons, are like what, 8. So maybe this is like a little less than half, maybe a little over 3 episodes. And if this was a season of the show and we had those additional 5 or 4 episodes, then I think that a lot of the weaker parts of this story would have been fleshed out more. And that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. I do think that this is one of those rare cases where I say, not rare cases actually. No, I don't think I say it too often, but this is a movie that should have been a show. I usually say certain shows should have been movies on the Disney side of things, but this is a, this is a show turned to a movie that didn't really need to. Instead of should have just been the show. And they touch on an arc for Mando, where he's a bounty hunter, but he's no longer. He talks about a lot. He's no longer working for criminals. He's only working for the Republic, or not the Republic. I think it's the New Galactic Republic is what they're called. He's only working for them, but he says he keeps claiming he's not choosing sides, and Sigourney Weaver's character, who I don't know if they ever say her name. I think she's just Blue Leader at one point because she's in an X-wing. But she says, yeah, sure, keep telling yourself that. And that could have been a very interesting story arc of him realizing, no, I am on their side. And maybe eventually just full on joining the New Republic and maybe convincing the rest of the Mandalorians to join the New Republic or something like that. Like, I don't know, man, there could have been something there. And with Grogu, it was about growing up and learning how to live without Mando. And how that is going to shake out for Grogu, because Grogu's going to outlive Mando by hundreds of years. So, like, yeah, you can definitely see what they could have done if they had a full season and just more writers and directors. This one was Jon Favreau with Dave Filoni and Peter Ramsey serving as second unit directors. You know, two people who have, Dave Filoni, he's now the architect of Star Wars, and Peter Ramsey, having written and directed several episodes of The Mandalorian seasons 1 through 3. Yeah, there's potential there that I wish this was a season of the show, but ultimately it wasn't. It was a movie, first Star Wars movie in 7 years. I had a good time. I think if you're a big Star Wars fan, you'll probably have a good time. Have your criticism, but have a good time. But that's all. That's all I got. If you don't have anything else, you can find all of our ads in the link in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more storytelling content, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. Peace.
Peace.